Hello, everyone. It's Jeannie. How are you? I hope you're well. I truly do. I am sitting down here in my studio for the first time in almost 2 months. I had several videos that I had done before we left for Australia. We left around the 21st or 2nd of February, and I had done most of the videos in earlier to mid-February, and then released those so that I didn't have to worry about doing videos while we were on vacation. And, I tried to respond to as many messages as I could. And of course, some I could only heart. But thank you for your comments and questions and all that interaction. Your interaction really helps my channel. It helps the algorithm. The big Mr. A in the sky. So thank you. Anyway, so it feels weird sitting back in here, coming back in here, and it's like, wait, what do I need to do with this wire and that wire? And what do I do with my sound? I hope it comes out, because me and sound have a love-hate relationship. Anyway, and so we got back from our trip on March 12th, and that was a Thursday. And we were about 17 hours, ahead of schedule. So when we left for Australia, we landed 2 days later because we left in the evening. And when we came back, we landed in Houston about 2 hours earlier than when we left Sydney. So crossing the international date line, going west versus east, it's kind of weird. Anyway, some things, you know how life is. Life just throws things at you and you have to deal with them. You just do. And so today's video is just kind of a chit-chat, catching you up on a few things. And it isn't that I feel I owe anybody, explanations. But I just kind of like to keep you roughly updated on what's going on in my world, in Jeannie's world. Before we left for Australia, maybe 3 weeks before that, my husband had some testing done at with our cardiologist, and he goes once a year to kind of have things just looked at. Several years ago, he did a full body scan, and it diagnosed saw a slightly enlarged aorta. Okay? And they just wanted to keep an eye on that and see how fast it is or isn't growing. And it's under all the levels of, whatever that is. We just want to prevent any kind of aneurysm, which is what that would be. And that is fine. But in doing all those tests, one of the tests he had was a nuclear stress test. And that's where they shoot some dye up into your veins and then put you on a treadmill, and you get worked out to see how your heart operates under stress exercise. Well, after that, we got a call. This was about 2.5 weeks before we left for Australia, and it was from our cardiologist's office, and they said, there's some things going on, and we think you need to come in for an angiogram and possibly a stent placement. What? Why? Because they suspected some blockage. So, anyway, we were like, well, can we do this before we go to Australia? thinking, it's easy. You can go in through, the arm radial, area here, go up, put a stent in, kind of bypass that clog, or open up that clog, not bypass. And they said, no, let's do it after. Okay, no big deal. Well, we got back on a Thursday and we had that procedure scheduled for the following Monday. And I just figured, you know what? You're going to be tired from the jet lag anyway. What's the big deal? And so I started reading about stents and blockages and, what does that, and the whole thing. And what I basically learned was that it would be an easy procedure. You go in, they go up, if they look at everything, and if needed, if it's at 75% blocked or more, you get a stent. Boom, they put it in, and you're good to go home in an hour or two. It's not how it went down. We went in thinking that. We went in the early morning of a Monday, right after we got home, and Zane was coming down with a cold to start with. Anyway, he goes in for the procedure, and after about an hour and a half, the nurse came out and said, he's in the recovery now, you can come see him. So I go in there, and our cardiologist is there, and he said, well, it was different than what I thought. We were able to stent one of the blockages. It was a 90% block in this one, what's called the circ area, but he's got two more that are 95% blocked in the LAD area. That is what's also called the widowmaker. So I'm trying to process this. What? He's got two 95% blockages right now in the widowmaker. Why couldn't you do them? Because they're in a precarious area and in a bifurcated area of the arteries coming down, descending. And the cardiologist wanted him to be in the hospital for this part of the procedure because where we were was the cardiac cath lab. And that's fine for normal stents. What he has could mean he needs more support from the hospital facilities, access, in the OR, better imaging, a bigger team, that kind of thing. So he wanted us to come back in 2 or 3 weeks after this procedure was healed. So anyway, we were there all day because they had to go in through the groin, the femoral artery, and he was bleeding a lot, and so it took a lot of pressure to stop that femoral bleeding. Anyway, the full-on cold for Zane came, and it was a cough came because, and I think it was extra bad because he was dealing with jet lag. He was dealing with the procedure, the effects of the procedure, and all the things they were giving him, plus the new meds that he's on. And then the cold. I think his immune system was just so divided, it couldn't focus on any one of those things. And so it was a really hard couple weeks for him, really hard. He was exhausted and he was sleeping most of the time. And the cough he had was a very deep in his lungs cough. So I was having him breathe steam, lots of steam, with essential oils like rosemary, frankincense, lemon, and clove. And that does help, but it just kind of helps relieve symptoms. Anyway, so it's been a lot. And I think it took a toll on us emotionally because we hadn't been thinking about the fact that he was walking around potentially a time bomb with this blockage, with these blockages, three major blockages. A 16-hour flight over to Australia, 16-hour flight back. All the traipsing around we did in Australia, never knowing. And this kind of, the blockages in a widowmaker typically aren't known until they're known. And then sometimes it's too late. It's a major heart attack. So the fact that we got in front of this when we did is awesome. And I'm trying to be in a state of gratitude over that. But part of my mind has been going to the what if. What if we were doing this or that? Or what if we were in the middle of our flight over the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, and something happened? You know, a piece of that plaque broke off and caused a heart attack, blocked completely. You know, a plane has its diversion points, and I know this because Zane is a pilot. It has its diversion, scheduled. If I'm here, I can go down here. And if I'm here, I can go down here. But some of those places are like Fiji, And what are the medical facilities like in Fiji? I don't know. So my mind was playing all these what if tricks on me. And it was hard. It was hard dealing with that. And so my focus was just kind of getting through it, taking care of Zane, getting over jet lag, and not making more videos. But I'll tell you something, it feels good getting back in here, but it's a little foreign too. It feels a little like, what am I doing in here? What goes where? What plugs in where? But I just wanted you to know that. I'm planning on releasing this video Monday, and his next procedure is Tuesday. So I'm doing this to ask for your healing energy, your prayers, and your good thoughts for our Captain Zane, and that he has a good procedure, that it doesn't turn into a bypass, open heart bypass. We really don't want that. And even if that were the case, I know he would be okay. They do these all day long, every day. It's not like he would be the first person to have this. But I'm just hoping and praying that this isn't the case, that they can fix this with stents. So, and, in terms of what comes next after this, not our diet, his diet is definitely changing. I have been really good about the things I'm doing, but I'm going to be much more strict about him. And I'm thinking the Mediterranean diet, which isn't really a diet, it's just the way they eat, is going to be most heart healthy for him. Lots of fish, chicken, not so much saturated fat and red meats, some red meats, but just keeping it, very lot more olive oil than butter. And we love butter, but if it's a fat and it's solid at room temperature, it's not something that's going to be good for him. And of course, sugars and, refined carbs, things like that. So these old age things that you got to think about. So, but anyway, it took a toll on both of us. But we're going to get past that and on to healthier everything. So, anyway, that's what's happening it will be tomorrow from when I post this video. I was thinking about, this is just a blah 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 video, by the way, as you can tell, just kind of catching you up. I was thinking about some things I ordered recently over the past couple of months from Amazon. And I wanted to show them to you because I love them. I love them. Or I wouldn't show you. Anything I show you, whether I'm sponsored or not, is because I would recommend it to you or to my mother or to somebody I care about. And so these are some things I want to show you. Not sponsored, just from Amazon. And I'll link it in case you want to click on my link. You don't have to. First thing is this. What is it, lady? It's a toothpaste squeezer. You put your toothpaste end into this and you squeeze this, roll this up. It's a big dial. Look at that. This is made out of steel. This is going to be something your kids, your grandkids, and your ancestors 400 years from now can still use. It's solid. You can stand your toothpaste up in this. I love this because I try squeezing the toothpaste out with my fingers and it's just, you can't. And then you squeeze it and it goes back down. This has made me being able to get all the toothpaste out so much better. Look at that. So I highly, highly recommend this crazy little contraption. Most of the ones you see are made from plastic. Okay, they're flimsy. This is not. This is like solid. Okay, so there's that. And then here's something else I love. Look at this. It's a garlic mincer. Super easy. It's also got a flattener here. You can hit it. But you just put your garlic down on the cutting board and you just roll this over it and it's instantly minced into a gazillion little pieces. So it's just a garlic. Look at that. Fabulous, brilliant little tool. And then, of course, to peel your garlic, this little plastic roller. You put your garlic in here, roll it, and the peeling, that skin of the garlic comes straight off. I have one of these that came from Japan like maybe 10, 15 years ago, more, maybe more, about 15, 16, 17 years ago. And I use it all the time. This happened to come with this. So it's kind of a 2-for-1. And then these I have been using, not anymore because it's warm now, but in the cold weather, look at this. Hand warmers, rechargeable hand warmers. You turn them on, put one in each pocket. When you turn it on, you can just click it while it's in your pocket. And they warm up. And I was using this on the golf course just when it was really cold. And just before I would play my hole or hit my ball, I would turn these on, and it's warming up now, and just warm up my fingers. My fingers are skinny little fingers, and they get cold, and it's hard to move. So I have these. Turn it off. And I keep one in each pocket. What I did was I put a mailing label on the back just in case I dropped it on the golf course. I would hope somebody would return it to me. So if you know anybody, I know it's not Christmas or any kind of holiday time, but if you know anybody who is out outdoors during the day and it's cold, these are perfect. It's a perfect gift. Get them and have them ahead of time to be able to give as a gift. We got these for one of our sons who does a lot of outdoor camping in the cold weather, and another who works in a shop that gets very cold. And we also got them heated vests and heated socks, you know. But this inexpensive and totally worth it. If you know somebody who's going to be outside, needs to warm their hands, these are the thing. Hand warmers, rechargeable. I've used those ones that are like one-time use. You squeeze them, but that's such a waste. You use them one time, they're warm for an hour or two, then you gotta throw them away. So I like that they're rechargeable. Okay, here's something that I've seen used for years and years, but never got it until this. Look at this. This is like computer cleaner or keyboard cleaner slime. Look at that. It looks wet and it's slightly wet, but your hands are, you know. Anyway, you rub this on your keyboard like this, or dab it, and it picks up all the grit. And it just goes into all those little grooves. See? I'll show you. And picks up the dust that the vacuuming doesn't do. I don't have a keyboard vacuumer, little vacuum, but like for our car has lots of different little grooves. This gets right in there, like the vents. It goes right in. And then you just put it away until next time. You know, I don't eat at my desk, so I don't know where the grit and the dust and crummy things come from. I'll take my keyboard and go like this. It's like, where did all that come from? So this is great to clean your keyboard, and for cars, you know, where you put your cup holder, where your vent, you know, all that stuff, all the little crevices. Brilliant. Brilliant. It's called Universal Dust Cleaning Gel. My hands are dry. So, and those are just the little things I wanted to show you. Like I said, I'll put links and you can click on my link or search them yourself, but I think they're brilliant. And then last week, I went on my first outing out of the house since we came home from Australia with 3 friends of mine, 3 great friends. We went to a little town called Round Top. And normally I think the population is like under 100, like 87. This little town called Round Top is full of antique dealers, these huge tents full of different kinds of antiques. Some are permanent and year-round, but most of them are, these vendors come in, they fill up these tents and have things to sell. We were there just after most of them were gone, so it wasn't that crowded, which was nice. Anyway, on our way out, we stopped at this one really cute store in Brenham, Texas. We went through Brenham, and they had all kinds of retro candies and really cool smelling soaps and stuff like that. Anyway, I saw this pack of blackjack gum, and boy, did this bring back memories for me. I think I've told the story before that when I was a little girl, we used to walk to the store on weekends, and we would get to spend our allowance on pretty much anything we wanted. And we would go with I would go with just my brother or a group of friends. Now, my allowance was 25 cents. I got a quarter for all the chores I did during the week. And, but we could also collect glass bottles and return those and get some extra money. But now, the thing about returning bottles is we didn't have a lot of soda in our house, soda pop, bottled drinks. So they were kind of precious to find and collect and return. Well, one day, a group of kids, maybe 2 or 3, were going to the store. That one of the stores we liked to go to was, we called it Speedy Market or Speedy Mart. And it was really a 7-Eleven on the corner of McKee and White Road in San Jose. And we would walk there and buy whatever we wanted, a little, I don't know, some candy, some gum, a little thing or whatever. Well, the kids were going, and I didn't have any money. I must have spent my quarter somewhere else. But I went with them. And when I was there, I saw this blackjack gum. It's like, ooh, blackjack gum. Well, I think it was a nickel. I didn't have a nickel. And I wanted it. So I stole it. I put it in my pocket. And I stole it. We walked back home. And when I was home, I put 2 pieces in my mouth. And I'm munching on it. And my mom, moms have radar. Moms have ESP. Moms have eyeballs in the backs of their heads, right? Well, she asked me, she goes, "What are you eating?" I said, "Some gum." "Where'd you get it?" "At the Speedy Mart." "How did you pay for that?" She must have known I was flat broke. And I said, I returned some bottles. She knew we didn't have any bottles, And so anyway, she got it out of me that I took it, Moms can do that. I was probably 5 or 6. And she said, "Okay, get in the car." She drove me back to the 7-Eleven, the Speedy Mart. Took me in there. Made me give back what I hadn't eaten and admit to my horrible deeds. And I was so embarrassed. I was so ashamed. She gets me back in the car, takes me home. I forfeited my allowance for the next week. I was grounded. And I couldn't go to the store again for I don't know how long. Maybe it was once or twice. But she came down on me like the law. So anyway, fast forward 60 years, and I'm at this store and I see this blackjack gum. And I'm looking at it, and I was talking with the guy, the owner of the store, and I said, "Oh man, that blackjack gum brings back memories. It was the first thing I ever stole." I said, "Are you sure you don't want to check my bags or my pants or, that I didn't take anything?" And we laughed about it. And he goes, "You know what? Here you go." And he grabs it and he takes it and he gives it to me. He says, "You can have this on me." So I was like, oh, wow, 60 years later, it kind of comes back. Anyway, I brought it home and I opened up one of the sticks, popped it in my mouth, and I was so disappointed. They've changed the formula, I think. I don't know for a fact. It doesn't taste licoricey like it used to. Does anybody know if they've changed the formula for this blackjack gum? And another thing is it isn't chewy. It's like hard. It makes great snapping sounds. But it's just different. It's not as that anise or licorice. It's just different. And it's not the same. And scent memories and taste memories are so strong that I know this is different. So I was kind of disappointed. That was not the end of my career in trying to be a criminal. I stole a Gumby once when I was out with my father at the Alum Rock Market. No, it was called James Lick Market. It was right across the street from James Lick High School. And I asked for it and he said no, but I wanted it anyway, so I stole it. And because I wasn't the brightest thief, I got into the back seat instead of riding home in the front seat like normal and began to open it because I couldn't wait. And he heard me, saw me, whipped the car around, took me back, and made me give it back to the store owner and explained that I had stolen it. Apologize, grounded, no allowance. So I learned my lesson with the Gumby. I don't think I stole anything after that. Maybe some grapes, at the grocery store. But no, I think that ended my criminal career. Thankfully, because I didn't make a very smart criminal. So, anyway. Blackjack gum. So kids, if you're watching this, don't steal. Well, I just wanted to come on, get back into coming in here. I've got some videos planned. Trust me, I do. Some good ones. And my creative thinking never stopped, even though I haven't been coming in. It's just been too discombobulated in the house to come in here and film and video, I should say. But I do have my Australia videos to put together still. And I'm going to give you a hint on one of the videos I'm going to make. Those are snacks that I brought home from Australia that I bought at the store. I have not tried them. Just sweet snacks, cookies and candies and things that you see in Australia. And so I will make a video just for the snacks. So I'm looking forward to that because we have some people coming over that I just want to serve the snacks and get them out of the house. I don't want sugary, carby things in the house. It's too tempting. And I put on about 3 pounds in Australia. 2.5 to 3 pounds. I know it's not a lot, but I don't want the trend going up. I want my trend to be staying the same. So, and that's not going to be good for Zane. Anyway, I just wanted to pop on and say hi, and I'm back, and I'm just going to go forth in faith that everything goes well tomorrow on Tuesday for Zane, and I will let you know. I will let you know. It might be a post in my community page on YouTube. I haven't put anything on Instagram. It's too much, too soon right now. So I wanted to let you know. And I'm going to be doing some more lives too, because those are fun. Kim from Angel on My Shoulder did a live a couple days ago, a few days back. And it was just nice to see her and hear her chatting, blah, 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 and little announcements and things like that. So, and Lori Latte, I see her lives. And Yeah, just other people. If I'm around, if I see the notice, I'll pop on. Sometimes I can only stay on for 5 minutes, or I'm going to bed or leaving, but I want to pop on and say hi and show my support. So, anyway, thank you all for being you, for being my supporters, and it means so much to me. Okay, it really does. I love this. I love what I do, and I've been so blessed to meet so many wonderful people, followers, as well as creators, and I've made some of the best friends out of some of you creators, and you know who you are, and some of you followers, you know who you are. So thank you for that. So I'm going to sign off before either my battery dies or my camera overheats, which it's been doing lately. It's a Sony ZV-1. So if you could tell me why it's overheating a lot lately, that would be a miracle to be able to fix that. Anyway, I will be back with more updates after Monday. I may do a live on Tuesday. We'll see. Thank you all for everything. Be well. Be healthy. Take care of yourself. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Take care of you. Take care of you. All right. Signing off. Sending you so much love and so much wellness. See you in the next video. Goodbye for now. I don't even want to chew it.